Evening, folks. Jeff Jones, Vice President of Local 1459, with an update for Monday, October the 19th. I understand there was a mailing sent out to every UFCW Local 1459 member from our current president, Tyrone Housey, and I'm here to address it. I would first like to apologize, but I'm going to read from a prepared statement. I'm quite capable of speaking and ad-libbing as we go, but this is such a sensitive subject that I'm going to read a prepared statement. Therefore, as you are all aware, I'm running for president this year with Dean Ethier as Secretary-Treasurer against President Tyrone Housey and office clerical worker Teresa Tolliver. The entire staff of representatives and organizers support me, as well as nearly every single executive board member, 8 out of 9, with 9 being the president, as well as the past 3 UFCW 1459 presidents. And there's a reason for that. We do the work. I've serviced my entire career at UFCW Local 1459 and have fought for the labor movement for over 3 decades in one way or another. Unfortunately, today, Tyrone has sent you all an inflammatory mailing about how his personal life and problems are somehow his staff's fault, without so much as a single shred of proof. He'd rather try to convince you that his perceived struggles are somehow the reason he does little work, services 0 membership, and collects a huge 6-figure salary. To offer context to his accusations, yes, an anonymous letter was written to the International Union and several executive board members claiming he was having an inappropriate relationship with a female staff person. I found out when a copy was delivered to me, and a second the following day by another executive board member, and I promptly told President Housey about it. He then gathered the staff and claimed that there was, quote, a rat amongst us, unquote. The staff, having nothing to do with this letter, told him as much. Tyrone was not satisfied and spent nearly $5,000 in dues money to do surveillance over our computers. Our mail was checked, our phone calls were monitored. He even bragged that he had debugged the office, which to me meant if you can debug it, you can rebug it again. So I always assumed that we were being watched in one way or another. He focused on one office staff person in particular. He had her desk drive broken down, scrubbed, examined, flushed out, and he found absolutely positively 0 forensic evidence to support the notion that she was the person behind the anonymous letter. But you know what he did find? He found that she was doing some college homework on her office computer. And you know what kind of homework it was? It was a union tuition-free program that we give to all our members to try and promote. And he deemed this a fireable offense. And so he terminated her. He will tell you that he sent her back to the stores into Stop and Shop. But in terms of being an integral component of our office staff, he fired her. Still, he had no evidence. He then turned his sights to Secretary-Treasurer Dean Ethier, setting him up to fail and stripping him of multiple positions. Tyrone later told multiple staff and Dean to his face that this was done out of, quote, spite, unquote. Dean wrote an open letter to the E-Board, and the E-Board quickly came to Dean's defense as there was no reason for these attacks by Tyrone. At this time, and only at this time, contrary to what his letter says, the staff organized a staff union to protect ourselves. We wanted the same just cause protection and grievance and arbitration protection that you folks have in your union contracts. Well, Tyrone recognized the staff union. He then refused to come to the table and bargain. Instead, he dipped into the general fund, funded by year's dues money, to pay former Secretary Treasurer Rick Brown to come back and bargain against the staff at the tune of $150 an hour, with a bonus upon completion. That $150 an hour is $30 more than our field organizer makes in one day. And our field organizer is pretty good. I wish we had 5 of her. Tyrone has since racked up multiple unfair labor practice charges as he continues to retaliate and break labor law with his own staff. As far as DCF being called on his family, that's a private matter, and I will not comment much, as I and my coworkers on staff know nothing about that. I am bewildered as to why he is sharing this intimately personal detail of his private life with you, as all of it has nothing to do with the work that you pay us to do, nor does he have any proof of who made this call. We're not involved. We didn't do it, and he knows that. At the end of the day, it's upsetting to see Tyrone insinuate that all this has come about for no other reason than his own unwillingness and inability to lead. We attempted to work quietly behind the scenes to stop needless spending, personal attacks, and lack of leadership. It's only now that we have to tell the whole story as it exists to shed light on an issue that has nothing to do with race, religion, or personal private relationships. The issue at hand has to do with the membership not receiving leadership, honesty, and transparency. It's time for a change. I won't spend much more time on this wild, unfounded accusation because our campaign is one of substance. So here it is. I'm running with Dean Ethier and taking a combined 25% pay reduction to continue my service with my membership and to run this local. I'm putting an emphasis on servicing. I'm freezing my salary and Dean's salary for 3 years after the pay decrease to put that money back into servicing and organizing. I'm freezing the top tier due rates for 3 years for all members because hard times are upon us. It's time to go to work. So that means if the International Union passes a per capita increase, meaning we have to pay more money in per member to them, we're not passing that on to you. We're going to eat it. Because these are indeed tough times, and you know what? We can do it. Unfortunately, Tyrone and his running mate service 0 membership and have no substance to their campaign, which is why they likely find it necessary to blame myself and the rest of our staff for their own missteps and laziness. I am confident the membership will see through this and focus on what's important, which is what I and the rest of the staff will do for you when we win. So please come out and vote November 10th at 7 p.m. at the local to ensure that this local continues its legacy of effective and efficient servicing and organizing and doesn't get bogged down in finger pointing and bloated salaries. It's time to take this local back. There is work to do. And one final note. I thought I dealt with this the other day, and now I'll do it again. I am not retiring. I am not going anywhere. I am happy with what I do. My daughter just started college this fall. So far, so good, given a pandemic. I'm not going anywhere. Ever try to pay off a college education? I'm not going anywhere. So, Mr. President, you want to just lock that one down and put it on a shelf? Because that's really empty. And even if I were retiring, which I am not, that's no argument to support you. Because it's about what you do and what you stand for and what you bring to the table and what you want to do. And I'm confident that you, the membership, will realize that the members' first slate is the best choice to go forward at Local 1459. Thank you, and have a good night.